So today we're going to dive into something really powerful, a completely automated system that's built to do one thing and do it incredibly well. Turn leads you thought were gone forever into actual recovered revenue. We're going to break down the closed-loop architecture that makes it all tick.
But first, let's just start with a question that I think every single person in business asks themselves. What if? What if you had a safety net? A system that could automatically catch potential customers right at that moment they're about to leave your site and disappear for good.
You know, for so long, we've all been taught to think about sales in this very linear way. This leaking funnel where you just have to accept that people are going to drop off. It's just a cost of doing business. But what we're talking about today is a total shift in that thinking. We're moving from that leaky funnel to a smart, circular recovery loop. A system that isn't just about getting leads, it's about bringing them back.
Okay, to really get how this works, let's set the scene. Just picture it, a potential customer, right? They're on your booking page, they've even filled out some info, but then they pause. They get distracted, their mouse starts drifting up towards that little X in the corner. A lead is literally seconds away from being lost.
So we're going to follow the journey of this one lost lead. You could think of this glowing data point as our main character, our protagonist. We're going to follow it from the exact moment of its great escape, all the way to, hopefully, its recovery. This is how we'll see the system work its magic.
Because here's the thing. The very instant that person decides to leave, this entire automated system just wakes up and springs into action. There's no panic. It just executes a perfectly timed, perfectly scripted plan. So let's meet the key players, the cast, if you will, that make this all happen. All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Here are the 5 core components of our architecture. You've got the primary sensor, which is basically the lookout. Then the intelligence layer, that's the brains. The orchestrator is the director, telling everyone what to do and when. The delivery engine is the messenger. And finally, the recovery vault, well, that's the scorekeeper. We're going to break down what each one of these does right now. So it all kicks off with the primary sensor. I want you to think of this as the system's tripwire. It's this smart little node that's just watching a key page, like your scheduling or checkout page. The very second a visitor tries to bail without finishing, that sensor fires and triggers the whole recovery event.
Okay, so triggering an alert, that's one thing. But the real magic, the hard part, is knowing what to say. How do you re-engage someone in a way that feels personal, that feels relevant, and not just like another piece of spam clogging up their inbox? How does the system figure out the perfect thing to say to bring them back?
Well, that is the job of the intelligence layer. This is the brain of the whole operation. In an instant, it analyzes what it knows about that visitor. So, for example, let's say they clicked on an ad that was all about saving time. The system knows that, so it can craft a message that specifically references that idea. It uses that context to generate a personalized hook that's designed to resonate with that specific person. Okay, so the system's been alerted, a personalized message has been written, now it's time for the automated intervention to begin. Let's walk through the exact sequence that gets deployed to bring our lost lead back home. The action unfolds in 2 lightning-fast phases. First, you have detection. That signal of them trying to leave, the exit signal, it gets captured and basically inverted. So instead of being an end-of-the-road signal, it becomes a go signal for our recovery process. And immediately after that, you have synthesis, where the intelligence layer drafts that custom hook we just talked about. I mean, this all happens in a blink of an eye. But who decides when to actually send that message? That's the orchestrator. If the intelligence layer is the writer, the orchestrator is the director of this whole play. It's in charge of the timing, the logic, the entire sequence of events, making sure the right message goes out at the absolute perfect time for maximum impact. Now, what's really interesting here is the system's strategic patience. So look, at time 0, the visitor leaves. The system doesn't immediately bombard them with messages. No, the orchestrator actually waits a full 24 hours. Then it sends a simple, helpful email with a one-click reschedule link. That delay is so key. It feels helpful, not desperate. And if there's still no action after 48 hours, it escalates, sending a resource drop, something of pure value, just to entice them back.
So the crucial question, does it all work? Does this carefully timed, personalized, patient sequence actually bring people back? Let's look at the final piece of the puzzle, and maybe the most important part of this whole architecture, the step that actually closes the loop and proves this thing's value.
This is the verification loop. See, it's not enough to just hope you recovered the lead.
The system needs to know it succeeded. So every single time a prospect comes back through one of these messages and books, that success is automatically tagged and logged. This gives you clear, undeniable proof of the revenue this system has recovered.
And this just illustrates that final destination perfectly. Our recovered lead, now a confirmed booking, gets sent as these data ribbons right into the recovery vault. It's logged as a win, it boosts the system's effectiveness score, and most importantly, it calculates a precise, hard and fast return on investment.
So let's zoom out one last time and just take in the whole thing. The complete, elegant architecture working in perfect sync, from that first little tripwire signal to the final, concrete proof of recovery.
What really makes this whole thing so powerful is how these core principles work together. You've got true closed-loop logic, so nothing gets missed. It all operates with these high-speed data transfers, turning those negative exit signals into positive recovery opportunities, all while automatically tracking its own ROI. It's a self-improving machine.
It all boils down to this one really powerful idea: revenue protection, achieved through automated authority. This is a system that doesn't just cross its fingers and hope for the best. It actively stands guard to protect and recover your bottom line.
Now, obviously, this was a super high-level overview of a very sophisticated system. If you want to really dive deep into the full architecture and learn how you might configure this kind of closed-loop logic for yourself, you should definitely visit Business Goto at businessgoto.ca. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next explainer.